What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 453 of the Smark Moment Smack Talk podcast, Hot Tags of the Week, where we'll be breaking down some of the current events, rumors, news, gossip, and other things that have happened in the world of professional wrestling over the past few days. I'm your host, as always, Tony Mango. Joining me, as always, is Robert DeFelice.
Tony, you live in Jersey. You want to see SummerSlam come to Jersey?
Well, if they do it, like, in my backyard, cool.
I mean, I don't know. How big's your backyard? Let's talk about it.
How big is the ring?
20 by 20.
You know what? It'd be useful if I knew how big my backyard was, because it doesn't really. They can at least try.
You asked so confidently that I thought you knew how big your backyard was. But yeah, SummerSlam might be headed to Jersey, and all this and more we'll be talking about on the hot tags.
Lots of things to talk about on the hot tags. One of the things we would have had on the hot tags we actually did earlier this week. So if you want to know our opinions about the Raw Underground thing and Dabba-Kato and how he's big and other people aren't, then go ahead and check out the Going Over, because that's what we kind of talked about there. But we need to talk about Justus. We need to talk about Retribution. We need to talk about The Rock and the XFL and a lot of other things.
Oh my God, what a week.
This is a week. You might even be able to tell in my voice. This is a fucking week. Not in a good mood tonight. Power outage things and TV problem, and every day's another 2020 day. And just, I hope that the people listening to this are not having the same type of year that like you and I are having, and a lot of other people. I really hope you guys aren't, because this is like the fuck this year. Like, it's just so I apologize about my mood.
Stronger than we are, because like a lot of what's gotten to me is just the shit of the year around. Like, I hope a lot of you are stronger.
I hope you're able to handle things better. I hope that when you're dealing with the big things that are happening this year, like the pandemic and stuff, that's not getting in your way too much. And I hope that you aren't doing the same thing that I'm doing, where you're like, what's the next appliance I need to buy again? Or something like, hey, how much thousands of dollars do I need to pay for a roof or something, like that kind of nonsense, garbage and shit. I want some of that $51 million that WWE saved. That's something I want, Did we talk about that on last week's Hot Tags?
No, I believe this is Thursday, so I don't know if we got to it last week.
It might have been. It might not have been.
I might have heard you and Wago talk about it, but still,
yeah, it's fucking, just give me one of it, and that solves like 70% of my problems. Just. So, like I said, I apologize. I'm in one of those moods today where multiple times I've had to be reminded to breathe, and when I've been done that, it's been like that kind of thing. One of those hand shaking, want to punch a wall and bash your skull in kind of days. And my TV just blinked. That'd be great. Yeah. If anybody knows how to fix the HDMI input on a Toshiba Fire TV, by the way, drop a comment below. Do the same thing when it comes to any of the hot tags here. We want you guys to tell your opinions about things. So if you've got any TV repair ideas, or
I do appreciate I do appreciate you going with the Fire TV. I think it's
I don't at this point. Fuck it. I've had the TV for less than a year. This hot tags are going to be a little bit of just being heated up too this week. It's going to be a little bit of a dark cast and a little bit of whatever. Toshiba, the fuck? I bought this TV on October, or not October. I keep wanting to say October. August 22nd, I think. It is August 7th, and the HDMI input fucks up. Like, it hasn't been a full year and your TV can't work? Come on. Also, tune in. It's been almost a month now. Fix the feed of Smack Talk. I had some deleted podcasts on there that you kept up, and then after I said, hey, you didn't fix that, they said, we'll re-index the whole thing. And it's been a month almost of them having years worth of the podcast not showing up on there and trying to tell me that it's a problem on my end. Well, if you click on Stitcher or Spotify or iTunes or literally anywhere other than the TuneIn feed, you will see all the way back to 2013. So tune in, get off your ass, and fix the problem that you caused. 2020.
Yeah.
Sorry. What were you saying about
No, I
appreciate
think
going with Fire TV. That's
I
what it
think
was.
Fire TVs are great for wrestling fans. You can watch like any streaming product on there, and I appreciate it. But yeah, tune in, fix your shit. There's plenty of podcast forums that we don't need your shit. Fix your shit. Otherwise, we'll just leave the platform altogether.
I'm very, 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 very close to that. I already told them in the last email. I'm like, you know what? If you don't get back to me soon, I'm going to be telling everybody that this is a real piece of shit thing. And look at that. It's on a podcast. TuneIn was fine up until this. I don't know what they did to screw this up. But, after a while, customer service becomes the type of thing where it's like, the part of customer service is service. Like, also, while I'm at it, fuck Xfinity. Just like...
Spectrum's not great either. My internet cuts out at least once a day.
If you are Google, or if you are a cable company or a company, if you make a product for this matter, oh god. So again, apologies.
So, if you like the human side of us, donate to the Patreon, because that's how you get more of the human side of us.
Not only do you get the human side of us, you also get Patreon exclusive episodes where it's more of stuff like this. Not that it's angry all the time. It's just, we kind of let loose a little bit more. So if you are liking this, which to a certain extent, what the hell, man? But if you are liking the whole, like, you know what, fuck it kind of idea behind things, the more and more I say this, the more and more I'm going to have to click on that section on the monetization on YouTube where it's like light profanity equals no, but I don't care. Also, if you're Google and YouTube, just kidding that. But Patreon helps out a lot. It helps out not only as far as the motivational type of thing where I go, oh, look at that, like Michael becoming a part of the Dark Cast tier. Thank you, Michael. Like that was literally the only good thing that has happened the entire day.
Hey, Michael, you're on the Dark Cast tier. Callum and I just recorded some Dark Cast for our Paul Heyman SmackDown podcast, and you'll be listening to that. So thank you.
He said he's going to be catching up on some of those, so I hope you enjoy them. I hope you enjoy the future ones that are coming, and I hope everybody else does too. But literally, I say it all the time, even $1 is great, and that's the type of thing. Look at this way. Hey, if I had 200-something people donate $1 a month, then I'd buy a new TV, and I'd be like, it's one less thing to worry about. I didn't worry about it until about, I don't know, 8 hours ago or so, but yeah, that's the thing of the day. Yeah, so Patreon, that's a plug out of the way. Leave a comment, that's a plug out of the way. We're getting the plugs out of the way, and we haven't even started the hot tags. We're already, how long are we into this? We're 8 minutes into this episode, and we haven't even said a single thing that we're talking about.
Well, we're heated. That's not true. I did bring up the fact that SummerSlam might be in Jersey, so we did talk about wrestling.
Yeah, SummerSlam, they also have the tagline. Here's one of the hot tags. They're giving it the tagline, "You'll never see it coming." Why are we getting taglines now? This is the third tagline. It was the horror show at Extreme Rules before this, and then before that was Backlash, the greatest wrestling match ever.
Well, now you're never going to see it coming, and I think that's because they're just going to drop it in some random venue in the Northeast, and you never saw it coming.
Just sort of at the Oakland Memorial whatever center in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, like who knows? Like honestly, Fightful, PWI, and WrestleVotes were like, well, live programming is going to resume on the Friday before SummerSlam, and SummerSlam is going to be live, and Raw will also be live, but we're not going to tell you where yet. We can't tell you where. And I'm like, I'm afraid of them going outside of Florida, but God knows it has to happen eventually.
Look, you could have stopped it at "I'm afraid," and the way that everything's going, I'd be like, yeah, I get it. Maybe they should just switch it to "You'll never see it."
You never know.
Just maybe that's a little more realistic. I'm not digging the tagline. I don't see a point in it. We already have a tagline: the biggest party of the summer.
That you never saw coming because it's COVID. It's the COVID parties, and you never saw the shit coming.
Yeah, that's I forgot where I was gonna go with that's sorry about that. I totally forgot my train of thought.
Tony, it's okay.
Something about the tagline thing again. If I think of it later in the middle of another hot tag, I'll be like, oh yeah, and the best taglines in movies ever or something like that. I don't know. Hey, let's talk about trademarks. They trademarked JUSTUS, Just Us, or Justice.
I like
And
Justice more than Retribution.
that I wanted to loop that in there with that because they have this new stable. We don't know who's going to be a part of it. That's kind of one of the things we wanted to speculate on. They're calling that stable Retribution, and I hate the name. It's just so bland. If
I
they
like
trademarked
I like
Justice right
Justice.
beforehand, that's such a better name. Like, do you think that there's something that's going to be to this where it's kind of like they were going to go with Justice and they trademarked it and they decided to go with Retribution instead, and Justice is nothing, or Justice is something else, or whatever? Because it seems like Justice would fit with this.
Justice could be something else. I would prefer Justice be this. I don't want to. I know we're gonna talk about the TV shows, but I don't want to jump to the end. But like at the same time, what is this?
Oh, we could talk about that. We could skip around with the TV show stuff because
Oh, okay. Well then,
the
what?
Retribution thing started on Monday Night Raw for anybody who didn't see it, and that was all these things where like the lights were going out, the microphones were cutting out, and eventually it comes down to being like part of the equipment got messed up by these people in like hoodies and kind of like a protest kind of thing, like a little play on like Antifa maybe.
It's completely a play on the current state of unrest in the country and Antifa, and this is a joke, right? And I'm not saying that because the McMahons are conservative. I'm not saying that because it's clearly a take on Antifa. These guys are small. They're tiny. And it's making me really wonder if that's whoever's take on like, ha, it's funny because you're small. And you think you have the power, but you don't, and you're small. And you know what else? You're small. Like, cause what? When on earth, Tony, have such men of such stature been put into a main event angle like this? I don't know if it's the what they're wearing, but man, do they not look tiny?
They do. I mean, we didn't get that good of a look on them on Monday Night Raw, but on SmackDown tonight, it ended with them attacking some people ringside, spray painting some stuff, taking a chainsaw to the ropes, smacking the barricades with a baseball bat. Like, but when you saw them in that fashion, first off, I couldn't tell who anybody was except for I think one person, and then I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, they're kind of small. Like they're not coming across like the rumored people here that I'm seeing around more than anything are Tommaso Ciampa, Brendan Vink, Dominic Dijakovic, Vanessa Bourne, and Chelsea Green. I think Chelsea Green was a part of that. And
You
all
can
the other
totally
ones,
write off Dijakovic.
yeah, that like that none of them could be Dijakovic. Also, one of them was black, and Ciampa, Dijakovic, and Brendan Vink are not black. So
Who was the dude that went right up to the camera and said, "This is our house now"?
I can't tell who. I was trying to pinpoint what that voice was, and it didn't spring to me. You know what it might be, though? These might not be the people.
I'm gonna go a step further. What the fuck is stopping this from being like Leon Ruff? What is stopping this from being Kobe Carino? They bought Evolve.
It might be. This might be the way that they incorporate those people in there, and they just have it being like it's just an evolve evasion kind of thing. Which, if they do that, I don't know why they wouldn't do that in NXT because that would make more sense. But like,
I'm okay with it.
I can't picture something like a Leon Ruff being put in like the title scene with Drew McIntyre, for instance.
You know what this is, right? This is Nexus with a mask and a woman.
Oh, there was two women, right?
I could only really tell one, but if there's two women, I have a theory. I think one of them is Rock's daughter. I think Rock's daughter is part of this. I really think like she could just, first of all, it's in the nature of the family to just skip the line. And I think she could totally skip the line. I think she fits the mold in that she's very like liberal in that sense. Like she could get behind this. And fuck it, why not? It's somebody new. I don't hate the fact that they're debuting new people, like the Nexus. I just don't like that they look so small.
Well, I'm wondering if they have plans to just make it other people, and it's just like, let's get some people out there, they're covered and they're all hooded up anyway, you know? I can see that being the case, but if it is this group, I can't pinpoint who any of them are, except for I think that one of them probably is Chelsea Green. It may be one of them is Vanessa Bourne. I mean, we heard that she was supposed to be coming up to the roster too.
I would hope Chelsea Green, because all due respect to Vanessa Bourne, nobody knows who you are. Like, people know Chelsea Green. She was on NXT. She was in the Robert Stone brand. She just fucked off. You know? Give us Chelsea Green. I think, I'm looking through the Evolve roster. I think one of them might be AR Fox. I think the dude who spoke to the camera might be AR Fox.
I'm gonna try to look this up. Evolve roster. Because if it's something like what's his face? The guy that we were saying before that they should sign.
It's not Josh Briggs.
Yeah, that guy. Like,
it's I have it on. I don't think he signed.
oh, I'm just seeing names. I don't know these names.
Well, if you look at if you click on AR Fox, I think you're on Wikipedia. If you click on AR Fox, I think that might be him.
Name sounds familiar.
Cause he's kind of tan.
Yeah, that could have been him. I don't know, like for instance, Brandon Taggart or Jarek 120. I don't know who these people are. Odinson, Paro. I know Sean Maluda.
Isn't he signed?
To who?
WWE. Wasn't he in the fucking Cruiserweight Classic? Hasn't he been signed with them for years?
No. He's been one of those guys that they bring in every once in a while, but he's not signed. Speaking of, well, no, we'll actually talk about that later on, about people that are brought in and what's up.
If I was a real conspiracy theorist, I would tell you the Retribution name that they're using is all caps, and Evolve is all caps. Huh?
The thing I don't like about the Retribution name is if they don't establish what they're getting Retribution for, there's no point in calling it that. Justus, you can kind of have without, like, if they're brand new, it could be like, yeah, we're gonna, bring Justus to the thing or something like that. But Retribution implies you've been a part of the company before. So I'm not liking that. I like the name Justus if they use it for this. If they go with Retribution still, that's already a downside to me. And of course, a lot of this is going to depend on who's a part of the crew and where they were planning to go. And I assume that WWE has no plans, really. And it's just sort of, this is an interesting angle. Let's see where it goes.
I just don't like that they look like geeks. I'm sorry. Like, listen, I'm not saying that I could do this better. I can't. The end. But they looked like geeks. And that's why part of me wonders if it's a fucking rib. Because, those geeky protesters, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I could see that.
Because they just looked small. And I got serious Nexus flashbacks, but if you compare the size of the Nexus dudes were like Ryback and Wade Barrett, you know?
Even people like Darren Young are like bigger than them.
Yeah.
And, Michael Tarver was like, he's not super impressive, but he was supposed to be this boxer type. And
David Otunga.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole chainsaw thing, and the geeky way they were celebrating, like, yeah, I did it, I used the chainsaw in the ring. It just felt like, all right, you need to kick up the intensity about 5 notches.
Yeah, you look at the way that Nexus debuted, and they were ransacking the ring with the crowd and with like so much more energy behind it. This was almost kind of coming off as like teenage vandals more than anything.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it really feels like they're making fun of it.
It was a lot better on Monday night. Like, I felt so much better about this whole thing before they said that it was called Retribution, before we got a better look at them, before they did the whole thing with the chainsaw and all that. Because I know the chainsaw thing's supposed to be cool, of like, they ruined the ropes, oh, we're badass. But like, you know, today was a downgrade when it came to that.
Also, what the fuck? This thing is going to be cross-branded?
Yeah, I guess so. And they didn't do anything on NXT, so I guess it's not going to be an NXT thing. It's just going to be Raw and SmackDown.
We are going to have a cross-branded Battle Royal. I guess we're just merging.
We're totally going to talk about that too and give some ideas.
It's time, Tony. We're going to merge.
Everything needs to merge. Maybe if everything in this world merges, then we can actually start taking care of some things. If it's like, let's get rid of some superfluous things and focus on some stuff here and there.
So you're a fan of Pangea, right?
You know, it might not be the worst.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you kind of screw up like the idea of going with like different seasons and stuff. And it's sort of, you know, if you get like one earthquake, you're messed up like everything. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not a geologist.
Hey. You know, that's okay, Tony. You're not a geologist, but you're a great writer, and you also make great merchandise, which you can pick up on Redbubble and TeePublic for not only Smark Out Moment, but Fanboys Anonymous and A Mango Tree. Tell them what's up there, Tony.
A Mango Teas, specifically, if you go on that.
But Mango Teas, but you're under a Mango Tree.
Yeah, everything's under A Mango Tree. And, yeah, maybe you want a shirt that says, I'm not a geologist. Maybe I'll make that up. I don't know. I do have some designs that I never put up and some that have been taken down, you know. But if you want to browse those catalogs and pick up something, then you've got my eternal gratitude, even if it's a sticker or something. But hey, that's a thing. So is the Deadly Draw tournament. The AEW Women's Tag Team Cup tournament decided to sort of happen out of nowhere. Hell of a marketing thing that they did on that, didn't they? Where they were like, it's happening. It's like, what? Even that night leading up to that, not a peep. Nothing on the Dynamite before that, nothing on the Dark before that about next week. You're going to see this at 7 o'clock on Monday. No, at 8 o'clock on a Monday, I find out, hey, that thing happened. Like, I guess I'll check that out later.
So they did say, hey, it's going to be on YouTube. And they were like, hey, it's going to be this coming Monday. But I didn't know whether it was going to be like the drawing was going to be on YouTube or what. But yeah, it just started. And not only did it just start, but like it had 2 matches. We got the return of Mel, the return of Cameron. And I didn't hate it, but I know a lot of people sure did.
So it was the night 1 quarterfinals. We've got Anna Jay and Tainara Conti making her debut, beating Nyla Rose and Ariana Andrew. So there goes Cameron. She's specified that she's not signed, that she actually wants to come back to WWE, which is kind of funny. And Tainara seems like she is fitting in. She looked better here than she did in anything else that I've seen her in. So not too bad.
She just shouldn't talk. I think she's pretty good in the ring for the experience she has, but the voice kind of throws it off.
Yeah, I don't buy the act.
Yeah, I mean, like, this isn't a dig. The people know you're with a Brazilian with a squeaky voice. It doesn't. It's not very intimidating.
Even if like what she was saying was, we're the most beautiful and talented or prettiest or whatever like that. I'm like, that's kind of lame.
It's also
Yeah.
weird when you think about Anna Jay being with the Dark Order.
Yeah, she's with the Dark Order, yet she doesn't really seem to do much with the Dark Order. She kind of just
She's just like the hot girl that's like gonna wear the mask and be there.
quick side note, this is another hot tag, but it's not really anything to dive too deep into. John Silver and Alex Reynolds have finally signed contracts with AEW. I thought that they were already signed.
In fact, I'm the one who transcribed that, Tony. For Fightful, from Chris Jericho's weekly Q&A session. Yeah, what the fuck? They've been on TV since like the 3rd episode of Dynamite. What do you mean they just signed their contract?
I love John Silver.
Is he the small one?
Yeah, he is fucking so he's the best part of being the elite. I love
yes.
so much when he does the whole like, can I just ask you something? Who the fuck is Griff Garrett?
John Silver made me hate Zack Ryder's finisher because he took it and Ryder didn't even need to jump. He just sort of lifted his leg. I'm like, okay, Ryder, I think you need a new finish.
What's it called now?
The radio silence, which is good. I like it. Radio silence.
It works.
Yeah. Side note, because we mentioned Chris Jericho's Q&A, which is where that news came from. What is this COVID era that everybody's got a fucking Twitch? And like, you need to pay attention to these 50 Twitch accounts, Tony, because at some point during these streams, they're not just gonna play fucking Donkey Kong Country. They're gonna fucking,
they're gonna tell you some real like deep backstory kind of thing. Like,
yeah, they're gonna like start shooting on people. Like Ember Moon was just like, yeah, and I think it's wrong that Sasha and Bailey have all the belts. What? I don't have time to follow all your Twitch.
You mean to tell me when you're watching Rusev try to get a Tetris that you're not expecting to see him talk about like, well, this person punched me backstage or something like that?
Oh my god, and he's the worst with it because he's just like constantly telling stories. So all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have this story to write about Rusev and John Cena. Where's this from? Oh, his Twitch account where he was playing Fortnite. What is this year? Like,
is this the test year that like everything gets like so like like you play a game that has like a sandbox mode and you just like balls to the wall, everything goes to hell because you just want to see what happens?
Yeah, I think that's where we're at.
The only thing I can think of is balloons, balloons tower defense. Like, just try things out and just see what happens and whatever. And then we end up just there's some kind of like an eclipse or something that just happens and we reboot the whole year. And this is one of those TV shows like Resurrection and Flash Forward where we're just like, oh man, I remember 2020 being awful. Okay, well, we started the year over again. And I'll be like, I'm not going to cut those potatoes where I cut my finger. And I'm like, yeah, on January 1st.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think I've had some things happen at the start of the year too. Like literally January 1st, some pretty gnarly shit happened. This year was just fucking ugh.
Where we can sacrifice like the Boneyard match and get like an actual WrestleMania, and we can I don't know. Twitch accounts though, like I can't follow that stuff. I mean, I know
like,
you have to do it for your job, and I'm thankfully like
you've seen it where it's just like, well, AJ Styles suddenly shit on Paul Heyman. Where did you do that? On his Twitch. Why? Like what? Or like Adam Cole and Britt Baker just talking about life on their Twitch. Everybody's got a Twitch account, Tony.
It's crazy. And if you don't have a Twitch account, you have a podcast where something happens, like Booker T. He's just casually mentioning, hey, Dixie Carter, she was hot to trot, as he says, with the Impact roster, and that's a hot tag in more ways than one. Let's talk about this. We kind of I think we might have alluded to this before, just kind of talking about like suggestions and stuff, but let's play a game. Who do you think, if this is true, it's allegedly, of course we don't know for sure, who do you think Booker T might be referring to. That was Whistle and Dixie.
I would honestly, um, Magnus or Rob Terry
I'm looking
comes to
at the
mind.
'07 roster on, I'll give this website a shout out, the SmackDownHotel.com. Nice job putting up a roster. I'm going to say, of course, I have literally no knowledge of this, so I'm just speaking as, somebody who's like, the hell with it, I'll just speak, whatever. AJ Styles, possibility. Austin Creed, possibility.
You think Xavier Woods?
I'm looking at the guys who I'm like, if I were looking for somebody, if I were in Dixie Carter's shoes, and if that's true, who would be like, I mean, there's more of a chance that a Chris Sabin is there in that capacity than Don West. You know what I mean? Bobby Roode is a possibility. I would assume that there's more of a chance of like Kazarian than Judas Macias, but
I can
Kevin
see
Nash
Kazarian.
is a rumor.
Kevin Nash, I can see pitching the idea, but I also see Kevin Nash just being like, nah.
Just shooting shit about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people would probably be like, "What if it was Sting?" I don't think so. To be fact, to be a fact, to be fair, I don't know if any of this is true at all. So, to me, if you had a report tomorrow came out that said like Matt Morgan was in an affair with whatever, I'd be like, "Oh wow, really?"
Scott Steiner.
Didn't he? There's another quick hot tags. Isn't he closing his Shoney's and replacing it with a bar?
He is a sports bar.
You ever been to Shoney's?
I have.
Went there once. Because I don't have any, like, it's not like a northeast coast kind of thing. So there's no, like, Shoney's unless you get to, like, Virginia or something like that. But I don't even remember where I was. I think I ate there on the way to Florida one time. And I probably got, like, chicken fingers or something because I was little. I don't even know. Did they have anything good in particular?
Nah,
Drop a comment below.
it's it's like a breakfast joint.
It's like an Applebee's kind of thing.
Yeah. Like a Bob Evans, I think, anyway.
I'm getting hungry. Bob Evans has had some decent stuff.
Hit or miss.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's Dixie Carter. That's a thing. Actually, we didn't talk about another part of the Deadly Draw tournament. It was Veda Scott is on commentary now. Shaul Guerrero is on the broadcast team, and Madusa made an appearance.
I was like, first of all, how the fuck don't you advertise this? Like, Veda Scott's a pretty big indie name, and Eddie Guerrero's daughter. Like, how do you not announce, hey, we have Eddie Guerrero's daughter?
And then the Madusa appearance to just say, hey, that's a tournament. I'm Madusa. See ya.
I didn't mind that as much, but it's like they could have done a better job. And I don't want to pick on them because they've gotten enough shit over the last 24 hours. I don't think it's wrong what the internet has done to them, but I feel like they could have done more.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What's going on with Brandy Rhodes here?
Brandy Rhodes left Twitter because Twitter is disgusting and filled with a bunch of people who literally had the goal to bully her off the platform. And they did so.
Twitter.
And they did so. And then they were like, oh, well, Tony Khan, you need to hire real PR professionals because, like they want to be given the corporate speak that WWE gives them that they complain about. But now that Brandy's trying to actually have a discourse with them and telling them, hey, shut up. This is what I'm trying to do. Well,
what was the whole exchange? Because by the time I came around to this news story, it was Brandy Rhodes deletes her Twitter account.
Well, what happened was, so they had the AEW Heels community, right?
Right. That hasn't really fully kicked off, has it?
I believe the first official, real thing was tonight. But they had announced that it would be $50 a year for this community. And people got upset. Because we live in an era where people don't want to pay for anything, Tony. You can get every WrestleMania ever for $9.99.
We're paying for it now with 2020.
Yeah, I know. We're literally paying for it. But yeah, they didn't want to pay for it. So then it became, oh, well, Brandy, yeah, well, we don't even want your female community because we're mad about your women's division because, as Twitter reminded me several times, Tony, Dynamite had one women's match this week, and it was 3 minutes and 51 seconds.
That was
And
Big Swole versus Reba, right?
Reba, yeah. And, oh boy, Twitter got upset. Brandy was like, hey, listen, this isn't about women's wrestling. This is about a community for women who want to watch wrestling. I'm not the booker for the women. That has nothing to do with me. I got us the tournament, and even that was a fight. So, like, she's trying to have a discourse with them, and they're like, yeah, well, fuck you, because, you're not doing what I want you to do. And she left Twitter. And then people were braggadocious about it because, people like being bullies until something happens and then they go, everybody needs to end bullying. Because now I'm upset. But you don't have the foresight to say, maybe I won't be a dick to somebody today.
Yeah, everybody wants to poke and poke and poke and poke until the bear attacks them, and then they go, geez, why are you attacking me? Oh my God, what's up with these bears, huh? It's like... I mean, I don't love the women's division in AEW. I don't think AEW heels is something that is going to work out super, super well, but go ahead and try it. What's the worst that can happen? I also noticed that the promo for AEW heels, they didn't get rid of all the white on the outside of their graphic. Something that's a regular thing with the AEW department here and there, where they'll take like an image and kind of not do the background of it and everything. That's why there's that video that Sami Guevara put out the one time where he's using the Smark out moment version of the Fight for the Fallen thing. But yeah, I'll make fun of the AEW heels thing a little bit, and I'll say that that's probably not going to be this game changing type of thing. But try it. Why not? Worst that happens is it fails. The AEW women's division, not the best thing in the world, but you know what? They got to start somewhere. And if she's not the booker, it's not her fault. And even if it is, like, goddamn, people, like, I'm complaining on a podcast about a lot of things right now today. And you know what? I'm complaining about it because it's an issue that needs to get solved. And it's something that I've tried solving, like, y'all bitch and complain about my TV being messed up. I already ran through all the things I can to fix the TV, except for to call up Toshiba and be like, yo, what the hell? So I'm going to do that tomorrow. Now, I'm not going to
I think you should just call Best Buy, by the way. That's just me.
Yeah, I'll probably call them up. But, like, to me, that's the type of thing where it's like, yeah, I'm going to call out TuneIn after a month of them not doing that kind of a thing. But if they fix it, I'm not going to be like, everybody needs to start going crazy or something like that. And people are a lot different than a company, too. Like, if you're targeting an individual person, it's a different thing. You're not getting anywhere with this kind of stuff on Twitter. And if you're being that horrible to an individual for somebody trying to do something that's good, like, it's not even like they did something bad and you're trying to get back at them kind of a thing. Like,
right.
It's one thing to do that. It's another thing to do the other thing. Like, I don't like this Deadly Draw tournament. I don't think it's going to be all that great. So far, I'm not impressed.
It's like 3 weeks long, isn't it?
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, if they're already on the quarterfinals, then like they've got one more
it's
quarterfinals.
Totally go to All Out.
Well, you figure next week, quarterfinals night 2, then the semifinals, and then the finals.
And then All Out.
Yeah, so they'll either do that or they'll do it right beforehand or something like that. But you know what it is? It's an hour a week where I watch another wrestling show and I type up a report about who won. It's not the end of the world. And if it ends up being great, it's great. If it ends up being something that's not great, it's a couple weeks. Oh, well. It's not offending me or hurting me or doing anything that screws my life up. And I highly doubt it's doing that with anybody else too. So shut your traps a little bit, like.
Yeah. Like, stop being bullies. Stop harassing people over a wrestling program. I think it's time to just, like, genuinely just enjoy the product. Man, like, it doesn't always have to be a fucking fight.
And if you don't enjoy something, it's fine to say that you don't. Like, it shouldn't be that you can't say anything negative or else the end of the world happening. It's totally cool to be like, wow, that match with so and so sucked, or hey, I'm not digging this angle, or whatever it is. But there's this gang mob mentality thing on this Twitter thing where it's like,
Yeah.
I know that if I get some kind of like, this podcast sucked or whatever like that, I know that there's a big difference when somebody says, I totally disagree with your list. And when I get another thing when it's, this writer's an asshole and he should go kill himself and here's the noose and whatever, then it's like, you're really gonna say that kind of stuff to somebody? Like, come on now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that that's the case. I'm sure she probably got a lot of that stuff, and I don't blame her if she just said, you know what, then screw it, deleting my
Fuck
Twitter
you.
account for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah. Fuck you.
I've never subscribed to the idea of if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. But I have always subscribed to if you have nothing nice to say and you can't say anything nicely about the way that you're saying it or whatever.
If you have nothing productive to say, just shut up. Like, I don't care if it's not nice, but if you have nothing productive other than to say,
that's the next the rule that people should follow is just everybody should just shut up unless you're going to contribute. Like, there's no point in hearing 100,000 people that have nothing to say that are talking for the sake of talking.
speaking of which, I'm just gonna segue into this one. Landstorm said, in light of speaking out, I think intergender matches should stop. I'm gonna get the tweet verbatim because I want to get this right, and I will set the stage by basically saying he said intergender matches should stop because his female trainees have said to him in the past, hey, I don't exactly feel comfortable doing them, but I feel obligated to because that's what's popular right now. And you'd have thought this dude was like, fuck all women.
Right.
Women.
A lot of complaints that he's like, trying to set back a movement or something. And to me, I read that as him saying, I've heard a lot of women complain that they don't feel comfortable, which makes me think that this is probably an uncomfortable situation, and I'd rather not have people in an uncomfortable situation.
So he said, I see some discussion on intergender wrestling matches. In light of speaking out, I think these matches have to stop. I've heard from so many women who were uncomfortable doing these but felt obligated to get booked because these matches were accepted norms. For every intergender match that happens in a top company with professional conduct, there are dozens of women who agree to be booked in a women's on a multi-show loop that get there and find there's no other woman on the show, and now she has to agree to do intergender matches and be the only woman on the tour, or lose all the booking and risk heat from canceling. There is then pressure to share a locker room or to share a room because everyone else is doubling up. This happens. So this dude is basically calling out shady practices, and people got mad. People were like, "Oh, the straight white man is telling us how to do." Kimberly of Impact Wrestling said, "Hard disagree. There needs to be more intergender, and if somebody doesn't want to do it, they need to say so." I've definitely told people no in the past, and I've also said no to working women. There's no difference. We're all wrestlers, equal rights, equal fights.
Now, it's like, that's the type of thing that, oh, if people don't like it, they should say no. A lot of people can't speak up. That's the same kind of mentality that people say when it's like, well, if you didn't want to get harassed, you shouldn't have been wearing that outfit. Like, that's not the right way to look about things. It's not like there. What's the quote that I put up on all the time on on Facebook? There's a right and a wrong in this universe, and it's not that hard to make the distinction.
And it's like Kylie Ray said, I respectfully understand, although there are some women who actually like to do these type and all types of matches, just a little unfair to segregate an entire gender due to some feelings against the situation that people don't even necessarily have to be in.
That's a much more reasonable approach to a response.
I just sort of feel like,
Also, why is it, the straight white man? Does straight and white have anything to do with that?
but that's what it broke down into.
Never
I just,
understood that kind of mentality.
I worry because I'm like, he wasn't being malicious. He was actually being very considerate, and I don't want his take being disregarded because no, we need to move forward into intergender wrestling.
I swear, these days, it really feels like you could say to somebody, like the differences between like pancakes and flapjacks and hotcakes. What do you call them?
I call them pancakes.
I call them pancakes too. And if somebody were to say to me, like if I ordered pancakes and they'd be like, "Oh, I'll get your flapjacks for you like right away," I'd go, "Thank you." And I feel like the way these days people would be like, "Fuck you! I said I got pancakes, not the flapjacks. I'm offended. I'm not gonna wear my mask." It's like you're just kind of like, oh man, like
It's just it's been a lot, and for those of you listening, I appreciate you bearing with us as we work through our stresses of the day.
as we we get into almost the second the full
Our
hour of this whole thing. Like, yeah, it's
I
while we're
appreciate
talking about it, because I'm hungry, I'm in the mood. Maybe this will, kind of make up for the fact that I went on these rants about different things and stuff. I just asked about the whole pancake flapjack type thing or whatever like that. Hot dog, is it a sandwich or not?
well, huh? I'm gonna say yes. I
I
think
agree.
it's on a bun, right? You can eat a sandwich on a bun.
People have this philosophy where they say a sandwich needs to be 2 slices of bread. And I say, what about a meatball sandwich, a hoagie, a hamburger? A hamburger is not 2 slices of just bread, it's one bun that's cut in half. A burger is in a different presentation, but it's the same kind of thing as a hot dog, because a hot dog is in a thing that was cut in half. It's just that it's still connected. And I've had plenty of hamburgers that are still connected with the buns. It's a sandwich, everybody. You take something, it could be veggies, it could be meat,
Relish.
it could be whatever. You take ingredients and you put them in some kind of a bread vehicle or vessel and you eat it preferably with your hands. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could eat hot dogs with your fork and knife or something like that. I guess you could. But like, there is no distinction of a hot dog being a non-sandwich and a meatball sandwich being a sandwich, if that's the case. They are the same thing.
I agree.
Now, a hot dog cut up on a plate, that is not a sandwich.
That's absolutely
Unless it is in a
a
roll.
meat.
And if it's in a roll and you're cutting it up on your plate, you're eating it weird, but you're eating a sandwich weird. Just the way that you're eating, you could eat a hamburger with a fork and knife, or you could eat, a hoagie or whatever else
A
you call
good
it.
gourmet hamburger with a fork and knife doesn't sound too bad right now.
You get something like the things from Cheesecake Factory where it's filled with like the mac and cheese or something like that, then yeah, you gotta eat it with a fork and knife. And now I'm even more hungry. Anyway. The Rock bought the XFL. It's a thing. Remember how one of the weirder stories was the XFL is going to come back, and then there was like, oh, look at this, the XFL is not a thing. Let's do a third thing for the XFL this year. The Rock is going to be owning the XFL. He's not the only one. He's part of a group of people, like a consortium that bought it, but for
Hold on,
15
hold
million.
on. No, hold, stop. The Rock bought Vince McMahon's XFL. What is this year?
I bet The Rock thinks that hot dog is the sandwich, and he calls them pancakes. And if he,
I mean,
just...
and then side note, but I hope to be as close with and as like functional with all of my exes ever as The Rock is with his ex-wife as they continue to make millions of dollars together.
They were great partners, just not, relationship, I guess.
Just not compatible in a relationship. She made history, Danny Garcia, being the first female owner of a football league. Apparently, The Rock said it was her idea.
Go Danny then.
I mean, whew, what a partnership, man.
Is there? This is another reason to want to vote for The Rock as president.
Like
Isn't that kind of stupid to say? To be like, I'd vote for the guy that bought the XFL, but it's like, you know what? Like,
the Rock just continues to amaze and inspire, and I'm really excited to see what they do.
By the way, if you want to endorse The Rock as president, that is actually one of the designs that's up on that TeePublic and Redbubble shop.
There you go.
It's been up there for 2 years or something like that. It's vote instead of like rock your vote, like that kind of thing. Every once in a while I get somebody that buys like a sticker or a button or whatever like that. And I think one of the more recent runs at that was actually like a kid's onesie, which I was like, that's kind of funny that like there's a kid out there where he's wearing a vote for The Rock.
A onesie of something that you made at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, it's some kind of. Also, shout out to Peter. Happy birthday, Peter. I know that went down and that you got a Smart Out Moment mask. That's really cool. I hope you enjoy that.
Petey, happy birthday, man. I saw Mick Foley's cameo.
Yeah, cool.
Good cool. For Mick Foley. Mick Foley is a great person.
So is Peter, so shout out to Peter.
Absolutely.
So is The Rock, it seems. It's just good people.
So the Rock and Sock and Petey connection, you know, it's
there you go.
Thing.
New stable to fight off Retribution. Rock wants to fight Daniel Bryan. That's another thing. He's like, congrats on the kid. Let's have a match.
Well, no, Daniel Bryan wants to fight The Rock because he's like, your damn song from Moana won't get out of my head, so we're gonna fight because my daughter keeps making me listen to the song.
It's really stupid. I was thinking, let it go, let it go. I'm like, wait, it's not even the same fucking movie.
So, okay, let's go down this rabbit hole. So, The Rock's You're Welcome actually cracked number 4 of the top 10 most listened to Disney songs on Spotify. Do you want to take any other guesses as to what else is on there?
Disney songs. Well, Let It Go.
Let It Go, believe it or not, was only number 9.
Wow, I guess people got enough of it. Is it one from The Lion King? Is it
There is.
Hakuna Matata?
Well, okay, yeah, there's actually 2 from The Lion King, but I guess you'll guess the other one.
So, I Just Can't Wait to Be King?
Of course.
And even though do you want to get the best song from The Lion King? It's This Land, from the soundtrack, Hans Zimmer. That
my favorite is I Just Can't Wait to Be King. I love I Just Can't Wait to Be King.
So we got one other one, right? Because he said 4. So.
Well, Rock's Thing was number 4. This is
the 2 from The Lion King, The Rock's Thing, and what was the other one?
It was no. Okay, so I Just Can't Wait to Be King was number 6. So the top 5 were How Far I'll Go from Moana. Hakuna Matata was number 2. Under the Sea, number 3. You're Welcome from The Rock is number 4. And Part of Your World is number 5.
Missing the best Disney song of all time.
I'll Make a Man Out of You is number 7.
No, that's not it.
What are you going for?
The best Disney song of all time. A Whole New World.
Oh, no. Actually, it's not on here. It's not even in the top 10.
Blasphemy. 2020, man.
So the other songs that round out the list are When Will My Life Begin from Tangled, I'll Make a Man Out of You from Mulan.
Never seen either of them.
Let It Go, and Go the Distance from Hercules. That's another one of my favorites.
Mulan's going straight to Disney Plus. That's a thing.
$30. As long as you let me keep it, I don't care about paying $30.
Well, see, that's the type of thing that you would get if we did a Hot Tags version of Weekend Geek on Fanboys Anonymous. If you don't know what Fanboys Anonymous is, you'd get more stuff about movies, TV shows, comic book, video games, different things like that over on that website. So go to fanboysanonymous.com and check out that site. Show you some love to that. Hit up the Patreon. Check out the merch. Subscribe to the channels and stuff. My TV keeps blinking. Thank you. I don't know why that's happening. That's great. Yeah, check out Fanboys Anonymous. I'd love to do more of that stuff, especially with the way the wrestling is with some of these things. We talked about this. We talked about that. Let's talk about the fact that Dynamite's not going to air on the regular night for 3 nights coming up. The 19th is going to be on Saturday the 22nd. The 26th will be on the Thursday, the 27th, and the 16th will be on the 17th of September.
Let's just go here. Let's go right there, Tony, and go. How the fuck is an episode of Dynamite going up against NXT TakeOver 30?
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wonder what's going to win.
I would imagine the live WWE show, which might not even be in no, that will be in Orlando. They did say NXT will stay in Orlando. They're not as special as the main roster.
I mean, I'm certainly watching that instead of Dynamite. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, unless the Dynamite was like, hey, we have fans and we're gonna do that blood and guts match. I can't imagine anything that would not.
I'll watch Dynamite if they're like, we have fans and we're gonna be live and we're gonna have the blood and guts match and also Keith Lee's fighting Karrion Kross. Something like that. But that's, yeah, they're getting bumped because of the NBA, so that's kind of interesting that they are they're kind of in that capacity. Hey, you know what? We should have done this story earlier when we were talking about social media and stuff. Let's talk about Marty Jannetty. I totally forgot that was a hot tag. That's one hell of a hot tag this week. So if you didn't know, Marty Jannetty is one of those guys that he just kind of gets on Facebook and starts talking about some stuff. Sometimes he talks about all the girls that he's loved over the years. Sometimes he talks about his daughter. Sometimes he talks about drugs. Sometimes he talks about
finding out that it's not his daughter, so it's all good. They can have sex.
Yeah, sometimes this, sometimes that. This week, it was the allegation from his own words that he murdered someone.
Yeah.
Which prompted some kind of an investigation. I haven't heard anything that's come out of that.
So he said, and I quote, "I never told no one this, not even my brother Gino, because Gino would have killed him, and I didn't want my brother gone. Hell, he'd only recently come back from Vietnam. I was 13, working at a bowling alley. He was buying weed from a guy. He uses a slur to describe this man that I will not say. He essentially says that this man tried to molest him, and that was the first time he made a man disappear."
There's so much to unpack in this alone that this could have been a 20-minute discussion, because there's, is it real? Is it not? And then you start branching into these different things, because it's like, is it not? Okay, well then it's Marty Jannetty just being Marty Jannetty, and he's just saying things, and maybe it's not, oh, I made a man disappear. Maybe it's like, I'm trying to be cool and whatever like that. And it's already sad as it is, because obviously he's got lots of different issues, and it's well past the point that he should have been seeking help and whatever. I know that he did the thing before where he was like, hey, you know, I really need to go to rehab, but remember that Amy Winehouse song? And it's like, that didn't end up well for Amy Winehouse. Might not want to use her as an example. Like,
well, hold on. You know, that wasn't it, because then he goes on to go, Winnie, which is a girl in pictures with him. I'm quoting here. "I likes you so damn much. Probably my favorite, but I promised myself way back then nobody would have hurt me again. That includes you. I loved you, but you hurt me with your effing jealousy. You can go your own way. I don't need you." So then he does appear on a podcast the next day after he, you know, they're like, "We're going to investigate you because you're saying you killed a guy." He appears on a podcast to say, "I said he disappeared. I didn't say I killed him."
That's some full-on, like, Sopranos type stuff. It's like, it fell off a truck. I didn't say that I stole it, you know?
I didn't say I dumped the body in the river. I had some laundry in here.
Look, he tripped, he fell, he's not going to be seen anymore. What are you talking about? What do you want from me?
So he says, "I said he disappeared." The headlines were, "Marty Jannetty admits to murder. We used to make fun of him because we knew he was gay." Quoting here again, "It's known he was gay. He's never touched me before." So he goes on to basically say, the guy tried to fondle him. What do you do when you're 13? He admits to, well, he says he beat him in the head with a brick.
Jesus Christ, really? See, I didn't hear about all this stuff, but that's just, okay, well, there goes the whole, is he being weird with his words? No, once you start throwing bricks like Kevin in Home Alone 2, it's a different story.
Well, okay, so he then says he didn't try to kill him. But can you imagine? He goes on to say, imagine dragging a guy down to the river and throwing him in and finding out on the news he's missing. I don't know, Barty. You threw him in the river, and then you're surprised to find out he was missing? What?
Hey, all I did was place him in the river. Somebody could have found him in the river. Like when I was
What the fuck?
Marty. So,
all right. And to anyone who is going to say anything in the future about my laugh, that's half a nervous laugh, half what the fuck am I doing reading this?
Oh, that's full on laughing about that. It's not laughing about the fact that somebody could have gotten hurt or killed or anything. That's absolutely awful. But it's a laugh of just like,
it's just like laughing at what is happening.
This is what we do. This is the world. This is where we. It's that like like you said, like it's like a nervous laugh of just, you know, you seen the Joker?
Yeah.
You know how like he eventually gets to the point where he's just laughing and he's just like, I'm just Joker now. You know, I'm tired of thinking that it's pretending that that's not funny. That this is the way that things are. It's just like, God damn, really? You're just gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna hop on Facebook today and I'm gonna say I killed someone. Also, like.
Well, like,
God damn,
how the
man.
fuck are you gonna say when I was beating him in the head with a brick, I was only trying to beat his ass. I wasn't trying to kill him. You're beating him in the head with a brick. Like,
You know, I binge watched all of The Office, and great show, by the way. You know, it gets worse when Michael Scott. It's not as big a part of the show anymore, but there's a part in that is ringing true to me where Kevin. Have you ever seen the show?
Bits and pieces.
You know, the big guy Kevin.
Yeah.
Bald. He at one episode he's saying that he ran over this turtle in the parking lot, and then he was trying to tape back the shell together, but he couldn't figure out how the parts fit, and then he ended up screwing it up even more. So then he taped a bunch of other things to it, and then that got screwed up even more or whatever. And it turns out that the turtle was just dead the whole time. Probably from when he ran it over. It's like, I'm just imagining that kind of thing where it's just like, what do you mean to tell me? I didn't think that this guy was gonna, you know, what do you mean he's missing? All I did was...
What do you mean? All I did was, you know, hit him with a brick and drag him to a river and throw him. What do you mean? I couldn't believe that. I found out on the news he was missing.
My God, like...
You know what's worse is 2020 took no prisoners and even took the phrase, I'm Sean, you're Marty. Like, it's just awkward now.
Yeah, now having the whole discussion of you're the Marty Jannetty of a tag team is like, it went from, oh, come on, I don't want to be the Marty Jannetty to, dude, don't accuse me of that. Please don't say I'm the Marty Jannetty. I'm not that bad.
Think of a psycho? Like...
So I know Wago suggested it, that we do Superstar Scores Marty Jannetty. We might down the line. I don't know. I can tell you right now, he's not getting a good thing for the backstage professionalism and public relations side of things.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking the lowest that you can get when it comes to that. That's for sure.
Jesus Christ. I almost... You know what? Fuck it. We're here. It's 3:16 in the morning. We're talking murder.
Oh, it's Austin 3:16.
We're talking murder with Marty Jannetty. God. What is our year? What is this week?
You know, if somebody would have said 2020 vision would have turned out. We had 2020 vision for this year. This should have been a great year. A lot of introspective stuff. A lot of like, maybe that's what Marty's doing. I don't know. Wrestling is 2020. At the end of the year, we're going to do that. And it's going to be about 2020. And then at some point, you know, 2023 or something like that, if the world's still in one piece, we're going to try to do Wrestling as 2020 again and be like, let's look back on this year and just be like, oh, that's when I got the thing where I needed an eye patch from then on. And you'll be like, you know, oh, I remember that year. That's the year that I don't know, imagine something. It's going to happen at this point. That's the year the airplane fell down on top of my car, like, you know, one of those kind of things.
Oh, it's such a mess. And the weird thing is, like, we're in such a rhythm at this point that Marty Jannetty thing was like yesterday or 2 days ago, and it already feels like, oh, that was a month ago.
And it's not even like that was the main hot tag. To just be like, I almost
Marty
forgot to talk about Marty Jannetty. Like,
former Intercontinental Champion confesses to murder, or like alludes to murder in 1978.
it's like a former champion admits that he's killed somebody. All right, let's move that about. Let's talk about this this battle royal. Like, it's kind of like, but outside of the TV stuff, that's a lot of the hot tags. Let's go to the TV side of things and talk about some of that stuff. We got Monday Night Raw. Not got to talk about everything necessarily, but here's a little bit of a complaint. I wrote up an article about this because I figured it was worth complaining about. Apollo Crews beats MVP to retain the United States Championship in a match that we were supposed to get at Extreme Rules, and WWE turns around and goes, how about that again? Because now Apollo Crews versus MVP again.
You know what happened here. Apollo wasn't cleared. He got cleared. They picked up like nothing ever happened.
Problem is, they shouldn't have done the match. Just have Apollo Crews come out on Monday Night Raw, attack MVP, and set up some kind of a, you know, well, he's going to fight Shelton Benjamin tonight or something like that. And I'm going to get that match at SummerSlam, and we're going to settle this. And I liked that idea, the whole having the ladder match with the two belts.
It would have been nice, but
WWE's doing way too many repeats, and they're really just like harping on this idea of you do something and then you just keep doing it because that's easier. Well, imagine if I would do that. Imagine if, like, we were to do, I don't know, next week's hot tags, and I said, here's a re-upload of the previous hot tags. No, I don't know.
I wouldn't upload this one twice.
Like, that's just not how you're, like, they knew if they wanted to go in this direction for SummerSlam, they shouldn't have done the match on Raw. Or they should do something to spice it up. Because right now, just doing the exact same match again, we've seen it. We've seen it before, actually. This is a match that's happened 2 or 3 times this year. So,
yeah, but Apollo finally gets the United States title belt back, and he has a new one now. So they felt accomplished.
I kind of liked his rationalization of he's going to take the old belt, hang it up for his kids for inspiration, and take the new belt. I was okay with that.
Yeah, that was too logical. Who wrote that?
So we got the you do something, then next week you talk about it, then the next week you set it up, and then the next week you do it, and then the week afterward you do it again, and then you do it again, kind of a thing. When it comes to Banks and Bailey, they did their video package, because every week they get a video package to eat up time, and Asuka is like, hey, I'm gonna fight you, remember? And then, yeah, that's a thing. So Bailey versus Asuka next week to determine if Asuka gets that match at SummerSlam, which, well, that'll happen. That'll be our 4th Asuka and Sasha match in a month, I think.
3rd.
Didn't they have a match like maybe that's more than a month ago?
It was Extreme Rules. The rematch on Raw. Yeah, and
I think that they had another match, like maybe that was April or May or something like that, though. I know they've had at least one other match in some capacity, even a tag team match or something like that.
Oh yeah, well they did have tag team. They did the Kabuki Warriors.
By the way, I calculated under cage match, Bailey, Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, and Nikki Cross. If you count the like a tag team match, or you know Bailey and Bliss or Banks and Bliss or whatever like that, if they do any more of those, they're gonna break 30.
Wow.
Over the course of when Bailey won the title.
Wow.
Yeah. 30 in a year and a half.
Well, I think Alexa will be doing different things now.
Well, I don't know. Braun Strowman doesn't give a damn about it. Kevin Owens is talking to the Iconics. We got the whole setup with the Iconics against Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. They're back together, kind of hesitant to get back together, but Owens was the facilitator and Morgan and Riott kind of burying the hatchet a little bit. Step in the right direction.
I think that this was one of the very few things on Raw that had a decent through line. Because Kevin Owens made sense. He said, listen, I've thrown away a lot of things. I don't want to see you guys throw away your friendship. And they brought up Sarah Logan because they don't feel bad about it anymore because she's pregnant.
Now that you're screwed and you can't work for us, now you can mention you can. Well, not screwed.
Exactly.
Obviously, it's a good thing for them, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, so they did the Iconics. I like the fact that the Riot Squad are getting back together. I thought for sure they'd be getting those tag titles at SummerSlam, but I guess they're not going to make Sasha and Bayley work twice.
Maybe it's payback. Maybe they just do a quick thing where it's like, on the Raw afterward, Banks and Bayley are doing something. Morgan and Riott come out and say, we're going to challenge you this weekend. Maybe it's that, because we don't have any time. Like, they're setting up stuff for SummerSlam, which admittedly they should, but literally the week afterward is payback. So, actually, but they haven't officially announced it. So maybe there is something weird to it. But
who knows? Maybe it will be that Raw Underground show.
Maybe. Obviously, we talked about that before, so we're not going to run that down. McIntyre and Orton cut a promo. Some good stuff in that. Let's see. We had Nia Jax. She is, quote, suspended indefinitely without pay because she didn't apologize to Pat Buck. Instead, she challenged him to a match.
This segment was fun. If you didn't have fun watching this segment, you can't have fun. Nia Jax, who for some reason now has colored hair again, was just like, yeah, fuck it. Intergender wrestling. Fight me, Pat. And he's like, what? I thought you were going to apologize to me. Fuck you, fight me. Okay, you're suspended. What? I'm going to headbutt you and leave all my makeup on your shirt. Fantastic.
So we're all in agreement here. Lance Storm is the one that produced the segment.
Totally.
Tozawa won the 24/7 title. I don't know really why. I like Tozawa, but what's the purpose?
Ninjas.
Baszler and Banks had a no contest. That's a thing.
By the way, hey, remember I've been touting this all week. 12 women. 12 women. And I'm counting Charlie because Charlie was all over this show. Used effectively, used to their strengths. That's how you book a women's division. And you still had 3 women as go-go dancers in a fight pit.
The girl from, was it The Bachelorette or something?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there was so much women interaction here. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very strong. You had the little brewing feud between Bianca and Selena because, somebody drugged Montez Ford, but, nobody, there was no police like when they fake drugged Jeff Hardy.
So, I mean, I didn't think that they were going to go with this whole poison thing. I thought that they were going to go with, like, he's got some kind of a condition where he's getting too excited and he has to slow things down, and that's how they're going to lose their match, is because he can't get, like, super pumped up. Because both times they had him pass out, it was him shaking the ropes.
Right, but you can't do that with COVID.
Yeah, I guess so. I still think that they're losing those titles, but we'll see, I guess, when it comes to SummerSlam.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Dominic's going to fight Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. I'm not excited for that.
I kind of am. Just because I'm ready to see Dominic have the match.
I'd be a lot more excited if it was a match and not a follow-up to these steps and eyeball type things.
Were you bothered by the Tom Phillips thing?
No. Made sense. I like that Samoa Joe stood up to him and was like, hey, fuck you, pal.
I like Samoa Joe when he gets like, no, we're not doing this. I can still fuck you up. I really enjoy that.
Samoa Joe's awesome. Give him the belt. I don't care if he's wrestling or not. Just give him the belt anyway.
Yeah, give him the belt. Give him that. They give him the Raw Underground Fight Championship.
Nah, give him the real belt. Make just like, I don't know, switch it around a little bit. Just be like, here you go. Here's the belt for a little bit. Now it goes back to McIntyre, but you've officially been a champion or something like that.
Worth it.
NXT, we got the Dakota Kai beating Rhea Ripley. Dakota Kai is going to fight Io Shirai at TakeOver. That'll be fun.
Looks like Ripley's gonna fight Mercedes.
I'm thinking it might be either Mercedes and Ripley in a singles match, or it might be Ripley and Shotzi against Mercedes and Aaliyah.
Yeah, I prefer the singles match.
Depends to me. If they do the tag team match on like the episode beforehand, okay. Like either way, I like all four of them. Aaliyah is somebody who's improved quite a bit, and she's not my favorite out of the four, but you know, like I'm digging it. Bronson Reed got a win over Shane Thorne.
Bronson Reed. He's gonna be a thing. I've been telling you.
He's moving up.
Number 10 draft pick. I had that eye.
Damian Priest qualified for the ladder match at North American Title 1. He beat Oney Lorcan and Ridge Holland. And we got news also that Dexter Lumis is out.
Yep.
He's got some kind of an injury. He's not going to be medically cleared.
How sad are you right now if you're NXT management? Like you had plans for people and it's just all falling apart.
Well, I'm yawning because it's 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it is. That's why this has been all over the place, guys.
One of the reasons.
For like 2.
One of the reasons why. But the thing that's good about NXT is they do still have the people. They clarified this being Dexter Lumis is out, but they're going to have another triple threat next week. That's going to be... Oh my god, I'm blanking on it. I just had it in my head. Didn't they say who it was?
Oh my god.
Cameron Grimes and Kushida and a mystery person, right?
No.
So yeah, who knows what the mystery person is going to be? Obviously, that's the point. It's a mystery person. If the mystery person was like, we're going to have a mystery person, and that person is Fandango, then it would have been like, well, okay, then it's Fandango, you know? Who are you thinking might be the mystery person?
Pete Dunne.
Hmm.
It's got to be somebody who hasn't been around for a while. And I'm not going to say Velveteen Dream.
I don't know if maybe this is somebody who's coming back, or maybe somebody who's part of NXT UK, and they're, you know, because Ridge Holland was able to, I think actually he might be in Florida, so he might not be somebody who traveled, because the travel ban's still in effect, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Can you fly if you're an athlete or something? I forget how that works.
I'm going with the fact that you might be able to fly, and I'm going to go with Pete Dunne.
I think there's a chance it might be Ciampa.
Wow, yeah, I didn't even think of that, Ciampa.
It'd be kind of funny if it was like the mystery guest is just somebody else on the roster that's just been there, like Mansoor. Just kind of, you know.
Oh my god, please.
Like you're waiting for the mystery guest thing, and it's just like, that's Chase Parker. You know, it's not really anything all that great. But I'm kind of thinking Ciampa more than anybody else. It'd be kind of neat if it was somebody like a Bo Dallas, and that was their way to get him back into the mix. I'd be cool with that.
I would take Bo Dallas.
But I figure with the whole idea that they're going to do these, the people who didn't get pinned or made to tap out are going to fight for the remaining 2 spots. You got Finn Balor, Johnny Gargano, Ridge Holland, and then TBD. TBD is probably going to win because TBD is pretty cool. But
I would say Holland beats Grimes and mystery person wins. But I'm still going with, well, actually Dexter Lumis was my pick because they had kept saying that he was going to be a main eventer. I'll go, you know what, I'm going to live the gimmick. Let's go with Bronson Reed wins the belt.
I'm thinking a little bit more still along the lines that Finn Balor is going to make it into that match, and then he's going to end up winning the title, but he's got to actually make it into the match. So far he hasn't, so it's interesting. It's something worth tracking. Next week we'll find out more puzzles to that. Legado del Fantasma abducted Tyler Breeze, or Fandango beat up on Tyler Breeze a little bit. Tegan Knox beat Indy Hartwell. Imperium beat the Undisputed Era with a little bit of distraction from Pat McAfee punting Adam Cole. And now we know we're getting Cole versus McAfee.
I don't hate it. If you can't carry the strap into NXT TakeOver, then you're going to carry the celebrity through NXT TakeOver.
I'm cool with it. It's got a chance.
I like that Sean and Hunter were basically like ready to fuck up Pat McAfee.
I know that a lot of people were like, is this real or whatever? I never thought that this was real to begin with.
Yeah, like.
And now that it's officially, just flat out at work and all that other kind of stuff, I'm very glad that they did it the way that they did it. So a lot of people did think that it was real. Nice touch.
I like that they swerved us and the celebrity's the bad guy.
Yeah, I really like that too. It's probably a little bit because Pat McAfee knows that it's more fun to be a heel.
And it's probably because it's like, all right, listen, if we had people, they'd be cheering Adam Cole over you. Let's just go with being the heel.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how that plays out. It's probably not going to be the best match in the world, but it's Adam Cole. He's going to try his best, and maybe it's going to be great. I don't know. Pat McAfee still is an athlete, so it's not like he's, Drew Carey or me or something. Like, I go in there with my bad back, and I'm just like, yeah, can I not take any bumps at all? Can I not even climb into the ropes or do anything?
I'm excited for this one. I'm ready for Adam Cole to do something else, but I think they don't want to lose him because they've lost so many of their key players.
Who was the thing? It was like one of our chats or something like that. Somebody was mentioning that they thought that maybe Kyle O'Reilly would start taking control and they'd do a feud between that or whatever. I forget who it was. Sorry, can't give you a shout out.
Yeah. Who the fuck? I don't know who that was, but I know exactly what you're saying. They talked about like how much cooler would it have been if it was Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole instead of Adam Cole
McAfee
versus. I was like, I don't know where you're getting that from. I mean, obviously,
love to see the match.
Yeah, I mean, like they've had great matches in the past, but I don't want to see the Undisputed Era break up. I don't think we're getting anything good from that.
Yeah. And as far as SmackDown's concerned, Matt Riddle beat Sheamus by DQ because Shorty G attacked him. That led to Sheamus being upset, so he interferes in the Jeff Hardy and King Corbin match, makes Corbin lose by DQ. Then Sheamus beats King Corbin by pinfall. They got a lot of mileage out of this one thing in this episode.
Yeah, you know what? I give him credit for it, though.
That's a better situation than a lot of other ones, that's for sure. I also had the dirt sheet where I had to add it to my list of extra characters for the year. Mandy Rose's hair, a wig with some googly eyes.
What'd you think about this dirt sheet?
Not great.
I can agree.
That led to Heavy Machinery and Miz and Morrison in the main event. And hey, Mandy Rose comes out, and man, doesn't she look so awful with her medium long hair?
Haircut.
She's like, still has the same body, still has the same face, and her hair's 90% the same length.
I did not like the way they did this. So they had this match go on last. Well, first of all, let's talk about this match real quick. Caleb Braxton's like, oh, Otis is so mad. He's gonna get you guys. And then Otis just like being his jolly self in the ring. He doesn't lose his temper or anything. And then they have Mandy and Sonya brawl. They brawl backstage. They cut the commercial with 10 minutes to go. They come back from commercial with the end credits.
Yeah, that was weird.
Well, I'm like, what? And then the power goes out, and then Retribution hits the ring. And it's, like I said earlier, it's Nexus, but with some ladies, and they're wearing masks.
We also got the Fiend and Alexa Bliss, and Braun Strowman says, I don't give a damn about Alexa Bliss. I'm a monster now.
Hold on. So, lots of weird things here. Fiend gets an entrance on SmackDown. That's first time ever. I don't know if you know that, but he's never gotten the full entrance outside of the pay-per-view.
See, I didn't know that because Michael Cole didn't go for the first time ever.
Well, that's what you gotta tell people. They cut the commercial. They come back, and Alexa Bliss is just teleported in the ring. And Alexa Bliss,
As one does.
yeah. And she's scared, and he didn't give her the mandible claw again. And then she gently puts his arms down and starts like stroking his mask. And I had said this earlier in the night to the Fightful group, but I immediately got to that. I said, "Oh, she's gonna be his Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna be the Stockholm Syndrome sidekick to the Fiend."
And they might even try to turn them. Oh, well, she's a babyface already, but they might try to do the whole she turns him babyface type thing.
And that was exasperated by Braun Strowman flat out going, "I don't give a fuck about Alexa." I was like, what was the whole point of this then?
What's weird is if they do turn Braun heel, then they're missing an opportunity to do some matches that they could have done already, and I'm curious why they didn't bother doing that instead of just repeating things over and over again. Because we didn't get Strowman versus Corbin for the title. We didn't get Strowman versus Sheamus for the title.
I guarantee you they don't think this is a heel turn. They think it's him embracing his toughness.
Maybe it's just flat out setting up for Roman Reigns to be the hero that beats him.
I am excited about The Fiend and Alexa Bliss. I want to see where they go with that.
I'm not super into it, but there's potential. Kind of depends on where they go. And then the only other thing to talk about is we have a triple brand battle royal. Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, I'm assuming. They didn't really specify, but it'd be kind of weird if it was like, hey, who's going to fight Bayley? 205 Live? And
it's Chase Parker.
Yeah, he's just going to get all those matches. So that's going to determine who fights Bayley for the title at SummerSlam. And I am begging at this point, do something different, please.
Who do you think it'll be?
Well, if they do something different, they don't have tons of options, but, it could be, I don't think it will be, could be Bianca Belair. It's not going to be, I don't think. You got to assume it's a babyface. So you can roll out Lana, you can roll out Natalya, you can roll out Nia Jax, Peyton Royce, Billie Kay. I don't think that they would go with Liv Morgan or Ruby Riott since they're just teaming up. I highly doubt they'd go with the Shayna Baszler thing, unless maybe that's where they're trying to go here, is Shayna is tired of opportunities. She wins the Battle Royal. They move her over in that kind of way. I don't think so, though. I think that they're trying to set up the idea of Shayna and Asuka down the line. Doesn't seem like it would be Alexa Bliss, and they've done that a million times or whatever like that. It would be weird to do something like that with Carmella when Carmella's just on SmackDown anyway. So I'm thinking it either has to be Mickie James or it has to be somebody from NXT.
So I have 3 in mind. Mickie James, because they've been teasing something on Twitter. Naomi, because you could just hotshot that and just give the people what they want.
Give her her third chance at the title this year.
Or, well, Tony, come on. She needs the chance at the title. Or Tegan Nox. And I think it's going to be Tegan Nox.
See, I kind of think it might be more along the lines of somebody like a Mia Yim.
I wish Candice was a babyface.
Yeah, that'd be good. But, I mean, if it's Mickie, I'm cool with Mickie.
I'd be cool with Rhea, for that matter. I'd be cool with anybody. I just don't
want to see the same thing again.
If somehow, by the grace of God, it's Nikki Cross, I'm just gonna throw a rock through my TV.
Do you want to throw one through mine? It's been blinking here and there throughout this whole time.
I don't think I need to.
There you go. It just blinked again. It knew that I was talking about it.
Yeah, it's smart being.
It's a smart TV. It doesn't know how to make its input work, but Well, those are the hot tags and some therapy session stuff, and
thank you for joining us.
feel like I should. How do those things end? It's usually like it starts with I'm, and then you say your name, and I'm a whatever. How do they end? Just thanks for coming, everybody. Have some coffee and donuts, kind of thing.
That's right. Now we're gonna have a pleasant discourse.
Well, I hope that you enjoyed our pleasant discourse and
This-
our unpleasant discourse.
Yeah, if you stayed with us, all right. Thank you.
It's an hour and a half. It's not the longest ride in the world. Felt a little bit longer, didn't it?
Yeah, that's just this year.
Maybe because it's 3:42 in the morning. Anyway, I did my plugs. Follow Facebook and Twitter. It's Mark on Moment. Hit the button. Subscribe. Hit the like. Hit the whatever. Hit me. Just let me see if I still feel something. Go ahead, Rob. Toss out yours.
Fightful.com, WrestleZone.com. That's where I do the news. You can also check out. I'll be on the Rest Friends podcast on Monday afternoon, so that'll be fun. It'll be me, Iridian Fierro, and Teddy Chavez. I will be joining them for their discussions. And just check me on Instagram and Twitter at DudeFelice. And if you want to hit me, go ahead and hit me.
I got that. Rest friends.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk about Dynamite. Anything on Dynamite that we need to talk about? I forget. Eric Bischoff was on there.
Eric Bischoff, yeah. Orange Cassidy cut a promo. It was an actual promo. It's kind of nice to hear him be serious.
Big fan of OC.
And Jon Moxley defended against Darby Allin, and it was good. Jon Moxley's a bigger draw than people give him credit for. They did tremendous numbers.
Hashtag MJF for champ.
There you go.
Alrighty, everybody. There you go. That's the edition. Episode 453. Is that what it is? 453.
That's right. Yeah.
And we'll kind of keep things going the way that we can. I don't know about lots of things. So we'll see what happens when it happens. But NXT list might be coming next week. Maybe it'll be on a different day than Wednesday. Maybe it won't be. Maybe it'll be a different thing entirely. I'll try to figure it out what's happening. But if you are subscribed to the channel and you ring that little notification bell, you follow the Facebook and Twitter, you check out the page on smarkamoment.com, you'll eventually see whatever gets posted, when it gets posted. We hope you enjoy that too. But for now, this has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.